Hey, I would like to welcome you back to the Bloody Fork Homestead. What I'd like to do in this particular video is walk you through an area where we're planting some new garden rows. And here we are in the mountains of North Carolina in an area that was farmed a long time ago. But I'll walk you through the steps that I took to get a few of the rows ready for planting. And we begin with this area right here. This is rotted manure, goat manure and hay, and this is where I start getting ready to plant. I have a wheelbarrow full of this, and it's a little ripe, but goat manure isn't as bad as some. I have help from these right here. They provide a lot of good manure for the garden. But this is the first step, and I'll take you through the rest of it. The first step in this process was to terrace it a little bit. Since we are on the side of a mountain, it's relatively flat here compared to some of the other areas, but we still terraced it, and we were trying to make some rows here. What I did first of all is put a thick mulch down of hay and goat manure. I did that last fall, and it killed the vegetation on top pretty well. It was probably a good 8-10 inches of mulch on top of these row areas. So that was the first step, to mulch it real good, to kill the vegetation. It actually is underneath all of the hay, and it's getting worked into the soil. That was the first step. The second step that I took, because this area is full of clay, it's pretty thick with clay. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's fairly clayish. I took some peat moss and mixed it in with the rotted hay and some goat manure. And what I did was getting the tomatoes ready. I'm going to probably plant these sometime in the next week or so. I dug down a couple of shovel lengths deep on each hole here for the tomatoes. And what I'll do is just go ahead and plant them in here when they're ready to go. But again, it's probably 2 shovel lengths deep. I put compost in there too, so that'll be plenty rich. In this row, I think we have 13 spots here for tomatoes, and this is an area that gets a lot of sun, so it'll be a great area. I believe there's 29 holes that I dug here, and again, about 2 shovelfuls deep. It has the combination of manure and also the rotted hay, a little bit of compost, and this will be a pepper bed. Staggering the peppers here, we'll get about 29 peppers. And in this row, adding some of the combination of the rotted hay and manure and peat moss to the bottom of this row here. You'll notice this is some of the hay that was here originally from during the winter and also the fall. It killed the grass very well. And this is going to be a bean row, a little over 50 foot, maybe it's about 60-foot row of beans. There'll be another row of some indeterminate tomatoes up here. These will probably be about 8 foot tall. I got to trellis them high up on the top edge here. But these beds, we hope, the Lord willing, they'll produce a lot. You know, this method of digging down deep and adding your mulch to the bottom is an old method that people used a lot in the olden days. People that had a lot of manure on their farms, or if you wanted to have an area to enrich quickly, it works great. But we'll keep you up to date when the plants are growing here. Just another note. You'll notice where we're going to have tomatoes, I already staked it a little bit. I put some T-post down with some nylon string that runs here. And one reason for that is we're going to start putting them out before too long. And we'll get some frost and some cold weather yet, so we'll have to cover these. And these particular strings that are up here we'll use for the cloth, but also for the tomatoes. Once they start coming up, we'll use these to wrap around the tomatoes to help support them. But anyway, we'll keep you up to date as we go here. Thank you very much.